For a long time, I definitely felt like I lost that father figure or that man in my life to like drive me forward or know what to do next.
Welcome to 45 on the Hour podcast. I'm your host, Colt 45, and we're on the mic with a good friend of mine I had met at the gym, and we were just talking about stories and whatnot, and he had a pretty interesting comeback story, and this guy's completely changed his life. And I'm all about comeback stories, guys, because comeback stories are what makes us who we are today. And just like I tell everybody, the deeper the struggle, the harder the success. And every time I find somebody with a story that just is so uplifting and so courageous, and it just blows my mind, I got to sit here and I got to learn more about it. What's up, brother? I'm going to bring my boy onto the podcast. Go ahead and say who you are and give me a little bit of a background on your story.
My name's Kyle, and I struggled with substance abuse and lots of other things throughout the years. I definitely,
a lot of people have.
Yeah, I mean, I early on was introduced to pot like at 13, right? And right out of the gate, like I started blackmailing my dad, like I'll mow the lawn if you throw me some bud. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Just to fuel that difference of me, right? Like I had to feel different from everyone else around me, and that provided that escape.
Dude, and what's interesting about you, man, is when I ran into you at the gym, and this is crazy because we met in the sauna. Like, we were both in there, and I'm like, dude, this guy's pretty shredded. We were talking, working out, and we were talking to a pro fighter in there, and he was talking about his story and whatever, and it just kind of like, it all sunk, like the energy of the stories kind of all meshed. And then me and him clicked, and I was like, man, and and he was talking about his story and how you help people now, and how you're like, you follow God, and like you got a lady, and like your life's going great. But then you had like this crazy past, about you did like hard drugs, right? Like heroin, meth,
it was
like that.
Pretty progressive. I mean, like for me, it's a progressive disease, right? So
correct.
13 was pot, 15 alcohol, 17, cocaine and Xanax started going into the mix, and then from there at 18, I started doing meth and heroin actually until right about 23 when I got sober for about 5 years.
Let's talk about the past, though. I want to get back in your childhood, bro, because I think that's the important part. Like, so what kind of family did you grow up in, bro? Did you grow up in a family that was like, you had everything handed to you? Or was it like,
no,
like my family, bro, where like, and it just like touched on topic, because a lot of people know about my story, but a lot of people don't. And so I always touch on it. My dad at 5 years old, came out to my mom that he wanted to be a female.
Yeah.
And so I was struggling with like having a father figure around.
Yeah.
And then my mom was just this feminine woman, which turned into a masculine woman, because of the things that my dad did.
Yeah.
And then eventually, my stepdad came in the picture, and then he was gay.
Yeah.
And didn't tell my mom. And then, so like all these things, shaped the person I was, and I was always trying to be this tough guy. And then I got into, a lot of bad stuff too. But getting into your history, how did your history start? Like, how did you start? Like, was it, an easy childhood, or was there abuse or anything crazy that happened, or neglect, or was it great?
Well, I mean, it's interesting you bring it up. Personally speaking, and coming from your point of view, my father actually was behind the doors closet, like cross-dresser. And,
okay.
And, early on at like 7 years old, me and my brothers like started seeing funny things around the house, like, what's going on? Doors are locked. Like, what's up with dad, right? Why is he like acting out aggressively towards us if we knock on the door to get some extra lunch for the day, right?
Right.
And it was really interesting. That definitely fueled the I need to escape pattern, right? I started with sports at like 10 years old with swimming. I swam competitively for about 10 years.
Yeah, I saw that on your bio. Yeah.
And
you said competitively, so like Olympics type? Or?
I was on my way to going to nationals at like 17 from swimming 4 years of varsity also for Royal High School. I still hold their 200 free record, oddly enough.
Very cool. Very cool.
I was on that way, and through all of that, I was using substances to escape all of those dreading feelings and everything going on at home, right? Like, dad's doing this, mom and dad are yelling all the time.
Did you just find out that your dad was cross-dressing? Like, did you walk in on him or something? Or
I
found wigs in my dad's closet.
Yeah,
it was in the the above part where you hang the clothes or whatever, the up part. And I was like, what is this? And I thought it was my mom's, I had no idea. But she knew.
Yeah.
She knew the whole time that he was leaving, and at first she thought he was cheating on her, I think. And then Yeah, he was just going to these clubs,
Yeah,
dressing up like a chick, and
At 16, I actually walked in on him, and like that was a traumatic experience for me because that was right when I started picking up cocaine and Xanax. Actually, I needed to go for that harder.
How old
stuff.
were you?
16 at the time.
When you first noticed?
When I had actively caught him.
Okay.
I
was like 5.
7 or 8 is when we started noticing there was a drawer of sex toys and videos that were just like way over our brothers' heads, right?
Right. We were nosy little kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started.
we were all over the place.
Yeah, I did the same shit. And so you find all this stuff out. Do you think that was like a turning point for you? Where you're like, dang, this man's supposed to be a man for me, right?
Yeah.
To teach me. That's where I started getting fucked up.
Yeah.
Because like I was like, wait a minute, hold on, you're supposed to be. And the thing was, it wasn't like if my dad felt that way, but he was just a really good parent, I would have been fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hey guys, I have these feelings, but you're there every fucking day. You know, like, hey, this is how you're supposed to do things. You know, I don't feel this way, but I know what it's like to be a man, so I'm going to teach you what you need. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For a long time, I definitely felt like I lost that father figure or that man in my life to like drive me forward or know what to do next in life.
Would you kind of like that the whole like growing up, or was he like really loving and there for you? Because the cool thing is, I always take a positive from every negative, right?
Yeah,
My dad was super emotionally like aware.
Oh yeah.
My dad was very loving, very hands-on. I love you, son. You know,
Oh, yeah.
so emotional. And so I experienced that from a man.
Yeah.
My mom wasn't really too much like that. My mom was very not touchy, like just like, oh, you got to do like very disciplined, you know. But my dad was very like always had to put his hand on you, give you a hug, give you a kiss. I love you, son. More of like a female type personality. And I was always like, oh, that's my dad. He's just super loving. I love you so much, son. You know, just very expressive, you know.
Yeah.
And so for me, I got that from my dad. You know, but I never got the male side from my dad. I kind of got it from my mom, which is confusing, right?
I'd say that I got a little bit, but it wasn't what I was like after, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I got some of the work ethic from him because he, 20 years he had a floor covering business. So like I'd go on side jobs with him all the time.
Cool. You probably did the job like as your son. Hey, come here, son. I'm going to teach you something, right?
And
$10 for the day.
We'd drive his big 94 Chevy Dually, to the jobs and everything.
Make you drive on his lap and just steer. Right?
I actually have a very fond memory at like maybe 5 or 6 years old. Growing up here in Ventura County, right? Like you kind of go to all the beaches, right?
Yeah,
so
you get
Silver Strand down there.
There you go.
There's that one going from Silver Strand to the La Janelle, and you can drive. And he put me on his lap, and I'm just driving, like doing the steering wheel. He's doing the pedals, and like I loved that interaction with him so much, and I think I chased that interaction for a long time, which probably led a lot to my using actually. And how I needed to escape or at least chase that feeling, right? And feeling a part of, feeling connected to my father.
I think a lot of us feel judged, and that's why we don't come out as men. Like, because you're a big guy, man. You seem pretty tough. If I saw you, I'd be like, oh, this guy means business. But for a lot of us, if we don't take off our mask and we share what we feel, we end up angry.
Oh, absolutely.
Have you noticed that? And I remember just growing up, man, being so fucking angry at everyone. At 5 years old, I remember I was pissing the bed until 5. And then as soon as I saw my dad, I walked in to the bathroom. My dad was always sitting down when he used the restroom. And it wasn't number 2 every time, So, and I noticed, I knew it. There's something wrong. He's never standing up. And I was like, am I supposed to do that? It was confusing. You know what I'm saying? And I remember that. And then I was always thinking to myself, man, is this what a man is? Because my mom wasn't really teaching. But then at 5 is when my mom couldn't take it anymore. Yeah. And that's when she divorced my dad and left. But then my mom turned the cheek and became like a very masculine woman. Very masculine. Yeah. She her hair, her long, beautiful black hair, curly, went from that to like in a bun, and then like, just the way that her perception on things was like, I got to take care of business because a man can't take care of me. Yeah. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take care of you. So then I became the aggressive, like the tough guy. Yeah. But that's not who I was. No. I was never I wanted to beat everyone's ass and just be angry and all this shit. And a lot of my anger always stemmed from my dad. Yeah. Because I wanted to be a strong man for my mom so that she didn't have to not be feminine. I wanted her to be a beautiful woman and love herself and be loving, but she could never do that. Yeah. And so I think like childhood has a lot to do with who we are in the future, who we become. Oh, absolutely. Right? And I think a lot of us don't recognize that, And then doing what we're doing now, like I shared something with you, and then now you're like, oh, well, if we're on the lines of that, well, I'm going to take off my mask too. Fuck yeah. Right? And then relative, it's like, well, we're both 2 tough guys that had similar experiences, but now it's like, okay, well, you could see how this shapes a man, right? And makes a man become. And I take all positive from it, man, because I'm an extremely loving father. And so I learned a lot of those traits from my dad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my dad is a tranny and gay or whatever, you know. Like, I don't know if he is gay because he married a woman that's now a man.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, it's complicated. But at the same time, like, who cares?
Yeah.
You know? My dad's happy. And then I hated my dad for years up until I realized to the point that my dad was either going to do it or kill himself. And when my dad told me that he felt like he wanted to kill himself at 51 years old, that was when I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if you're an alien.
Yeah.
Just be my parent. That's all I care about. Just be my parent. And I think that's relatable to both you and I. Because at the same time, it's like I was embarrassed my whole life growing up knowing that I had a man that was my father that I was embarrassed about. I lied. I still tell this story to this day. I told everyone that my dad was in prison. My dad was in jail. So I thought that was cooler than saying that my dad was trying on women's clothing all day long.
Yeah. I relate to that like
Yeah.
100%, you know.
Yeah.
I lived in fear of people finding out like what was going on at home, you know what I mean?
Totally.
And you know, again, it led me to this pattern of wanting to escape all the time, whether it was swimming, drugs and alcohol, or trying to find the girlfriend that was gonna, you know, pull me out of the situation. Or
Yeah, you're looking for something to save you, right?
Exactly.
I was looking for that my whole life. And that's funny because you start talking about that and I starts relating to my early 20s.
Yeah.
You know, where I met my first wife, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just looking for someone to accept me, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, there's no way. I had a kid with some girl that I just met, and she had her 9 months later, and I didn't even know about it. And now I'm a single dad, was struggling, and then I met the first woman that actually accepted me for everything. Yeah. And I kept looking for other people to latch onto, other women. Oh, she'll love me. Oh, I don't care. I'll sabotage it. Boom, next person. And it was like this cycle, you know. And she was the only one that like stood put. She just waited for me.
Yeah.
So I married her, you know, and I was like, oh, she accepts me for who I am. At the same time, I didn't have a connection. I didn't know really what I wanted.
Yeah.
I just wanted acceptance. But it wasn't about her accepting me. It was about me accepting myself. And I never did that. And that's what like literally drove me. And I got worse because I was with someone that was so comfortable with me being me. And I was just a horrible person, horrible husband.
Other patterns and
then other patterns
traits come out.
Because I got too comfortable, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and there's like this song. Who sings it? Key Glock, right? Bitch, don't get too comfortable. Is that no? That's Future, right? That's Future, right? Yeah. Yeah, he says that. He says, bitch, don't get too comfortable. You better not get too comfortable. Because comfort kills.
Yeah.
And I got too comfortable. I got too comfortable in my marriage. I was like, oh, this person accepts me. But I was never doing the work.
Yeah.
And so I was still fighting these demons, and I was still angry, and I still hated the world, and I still wanted to punish people.
Mm-hmm.
And it did nothing for me because I could never be my true self. And as soon as I came out of my closet, which I say, and I said, you know, I'm just going to be my true self, 37 years old. I got my diamonds I wanted. I got my necklace. I got my watch. You know, I got my tats. Anything I wanted, I just started doing myself. I was like, I'm going to do this. This is me. I'm going to tap my face if I feel like it. If this is what I want to do, I'm going to do it. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Whoever loves me has loved me from the beginning. Whoever doesn't love me, that's going to stop following me or start judging me. Mm-hmm. They would have never been my fan anyways. They're just trying to watch my downfall. Exactly. They're just trying to wait. That's why they're watching you, and that's why haters do that is because they're just trying to see your downfall. Mm-hmm. They want to prey on your downfall. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But that don't make you religious. That's what I always tell people. You know, you can pray all you want on my downfall, but that don't make you religious. But getting back to you, what's interesting is that you had all these things happen, and then you got into drugs, and you start off small. And that's what everyone does, right? When it gets into addiction. And addiction isn't just drugs, right?
No.
It could be sex.
Money. Fucking anything. I mean, I'll turn it into a pattern of somehow to escape within that. Like, I mean, sometimes I can take the gym too far, right? Like yesterday, I went in the morning and then I went in the afternoon. Yeah. Like, why?
Yeah, I call them running twos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is cool. I actually like it. You know, I've been like help my mom out at night and then I do something in the morning. But it's funny you say all that because it's so relatable. And I think that's what life's about. I think it's about relating, you know? But I want to get more into your history because this podcast is about you.
100%.
So you get more into like drugs, right? And then how does things like progress? Is it because you didn't see patterns change in your home life? Because you think a lot of the drug abuse and all the things that you sought out after were because of the drug use or not because of the drug use, because of the things that you saw at home?
I'd say that it had a lot to do with it. But when it came to the drug use, like, I mean, I just kept stepping it up because, you know, the pot and the alcohol stopped working, right? You know,
So you started off with pot.
Yeah.
Which most people do.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Anyway, I went from pot to pills.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Pills were my choice.
Yeah.
Because I would get numb. I would just get numb, and it would like numb me out. And I'd be like, and I got used to that. You know, and luckily I had the Marine Corps to break free from that. But then I got back into it when I had back issues. Yeah. And I got into Norco very hard. Yeah. I was taking like 20 a day.
Got into Norco as like my senior year of high school when I was like trying to screw around a little bit. And then like as soon as I found like Xanax and Norcos together, I started losing blotches of time, man. I probably lost like 2 months my senior year from December to end of January. That just wiped my mind, right?
Like, had no idea what happened.
Have no idea. I came to 2 months later, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. And a friend of mine from high school, he played water polo. He was a year ahead of me, so he had graduated and was back for like a holiday weekend, right? And actually introduced me to heroin like that weekend.
Wait, that was in college?
No, my like senior year of high school.
And you started off with the narcotics, right?
Yeah.
So let's step back a minute. So let's talk about that. So the narcotics, the Norco, the things like that, those things, right? You were mentioning that you had like mush brain, right?
Oh,
like memory fog.
Yeah.
Dude, I was taking so many pills that I could not put a thought together.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't put a thought together. I couldn't take a shit. I couldn't think properly. Like for anything, I was completely disconnected from my kids. I just wanted to get high.
Yeah.
You know, and I got to the point to where, like, I thought about snorting them. And then that's where you get to the levels because you're chasing the high, right?
Yep.
But I knew that it was so bad one time because I went on a run because I was trying to get back into fitness, and I couldn't fucking breathe, right? So it's something to your lungs, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it just fucks everything up, man.
and what saved my life, and to this day, is jujitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was so fucking tired of myself.
I mean,
I was at rock bottom, man. I was the lowest form. Like, Norcos were helping me. You know, they were helping me, you know, but at the same time, they were crutching me.
Yeah.
And I had these medical issues with my back. I couldn't stand up all the way. So I just went into a jiu-jitsu school, man, and I met this dude named Rick Petty, and I talk about him often. He's my boy. And he was the first person I met. He's a 6. He makes you look like you to me. and you're what, 6'2", 6'3"?
Just under 6'2", yeah.
Okay, so he's like 6'5" or 6'6", and he's like 265 pounds, but shredded. He's like ripped, bro, you know? And great dude. He's a black belt now. And
it's funny you mentioned that. My mom's dad was actually 6'7" and just a built like welder and everything. So like anytime I hear like something like that, I think of my grandfather. He actually had a heart attack at 48.
Oh shit.
So I mean, heart disease is kind of in my family between like my grandfather, my dad at 58. So all the more reason for me to be attentive to these things, and like I need to be healthy. I need physical fitness within my life. I can't have drugs or alcohol.
Correct.
Because you know it's just gonna fuck everything up, or I'm gonna die. Right?
Totally. And I had the same thing. My family was all diabetic and all overweight.
Yeah.
And I made a choice to myself. I was like, okay, I've looked at the history of my families growing up, right? Both my grandpa and my grandma, and they were both poor.
Yeah.
Okay. My grandma, her mom was married to a guy that was in the mafia, Italian mafia in New York. And so he was a wise guy. And a lot of people don't know this about me because I've never talked about this. But he was very abusive. And they were all, you know, overweight, diabetic, very negative, you know, this and that. And the same thing with my dad's side, you know.
Yeah.
Like, everyone had like cancer and like stuff like that. And so I was just deciding to myself, I was like, after seeing so many people overweight and so many people with diabetes and on medication and living on Social Security and disability, and that was my family, you know?
Yeah.
Just poor, you know, and like eating like, you know, Italian food and the same shit all the time, pasta and all that stuff. I was like, hell no, man. I don't want to live that life forever. Not only for me, but for my kids. Because whatever I am is going to repeat the cycle. So I decided to be the sacrifice, right? I call it the offering, right? So I decided to be the offering for my family. I was like, you know what? No, this shit ends with me. With me. I'm the one that is going to suffer to change so that my kids don't have to. But I want to get back to that other thing we were talking about. What were we talking about? Rick Petty, my buddy.
Yes.
So I was high on Norco all the fucking time, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I get like 90 pills plus 90, and I get them on the streets, and I was fucking high as shit.
Yeah, you find the connect, you chase that connect.
Bro, I was so fucking high, dude, all the time, and I thought I was still working out, and I was still good because I was repairing, and I went into one jiu-jitsu match, man, with him, and I died. Literally died, like not physically, you know, but I died. I could not fucking breathe,
from a spiritual sense, you know, doing what we do in that sense, like we do die a little bit. I mean, straight up. I mean, when
I just couldn't breathe.
yeah, it's a trip.
And then after that, man, I just remember that was the part that humbled me. I literally couldn't catch my breath for like 20 minutes. And then that's when I started the process, and I was having pains because I quit cold turkey, which you don't want to do when you're taking that many a day. So, anyways, getting back into it, I cut it down, and then I eventually quit, and I haven't taken one since, man. I had back surgery, and I was in so much pain by like day 2. It was just the worst. And I remember taking a quarter of it. I felt the way that it felt, and I threw them all away. I got a whole thing given to me.
Yeah.
And anyways, getting back to that, we go through a lot of shit in life, and that's what really changed me ultimately was jujitsu. That's what killed my drug habit.
Yeah.
But for you, I want to get back into you because you said you got into heroin. So like you started off small at 16-ish, right? You know, you start smoking weed and then maybe some pills,
alcohol, and then
and
the
then you
pills.
then you're doing the swim career thing.
Yep.
You were an athlete, right? Did you play football?
No.
You're a big guy, dude.
No football.
Yeah, no football. Then you got into your 20s, and then you just couldn't get high anymore, right?
Yeah,
So you're just like
from 19 to 23, I mean, it's not a running joke, but I mean, I lived in treatment centers. I was either going to a treatment center.
19 to 23.
19 to 23.
So for 4 years?
For 4 years, I was going to treatment centers just to eat and have a bed to sleep. And if I wasn't there, then I was living in my parents' motorhome in the front driveway of their house because I wasn't allowed in the house.
What were you doing in that time? Like what were you doing for money?
Oh, dude, robbing, stealing, fucking doing anything I could to get $1 so that I could call the dope man and be able to pick up, you know?
Dude, I've had some dudes that
Just
did
to stay
like
well.
home invasions just to try to like do shit. And I'm like, damn, you broke into houses and stuff? Like, that's crazy.
I was very blessed. I didn't get any jail time. I never got any federal charges. I had a bunch of misdemeanors for possession and whatnot, like getting caught at Kohl's or Target or whatever, you know, getting busted. And I had like a little sack in my pocket or something, right? So I find myself extremely lucky that I didn't get that far and experience that, right? Have tons of friends, tons of acquaintances that I've met over the years that have gone and had that route, right? Good friend of mine, he actually did a couple years up in Wasco, right? And like he got sober in prison actually. And oddly enough, he became my sponsor when I was 23 through a fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous, right? I found something eventually, right? But it took a long time for me to have that perception change, to have that psychic change that we have to have, or at least for me, I had to have that psychic change in order to fall out of it a little bit, snap out and understand that the way that I had been living life was absolutely absurd and I was hurting everyone around me, including more so myself than anything else.
Did you have like an intervention or something?
Oh, no.
You hit rock bottom.
I hit rock bottom.
How did you hit rock bottom? Let's talk about that because you were doing heroin and meth, which is called a speedball, right?
Yeah.
Is that what they call that?
Yeah,
drug
speedball,
term?
essentially.
Because you want to get low, but you want to not get too low.
Ride that roller
coaster, right? And so you were doing that for a while, and you were still living at your parents when you were getting high?
Yeah. And then at 23, when I had finally come home after another treatment stint, I got high one more time. And just that internal guilt of
getting high. Of
getting high in my parents' house again and living in the front room, I felt so dirty. And I reached out to a buddy of mine and I started going to meetings every day. AA. And I ended up like going through the step work and finding a new understanding of myself and really knowing that like any substance put into my body just turns me into a self-centered, jealous, manipulative, dirty motherfucker, like straight up. And that's just who I am when I use any substance. And unfortunately, like it's not something for me because again, like I run people down and I'll bring people down with me too at the same time.
Right. So you're not only hurting your life, you're hurting everybody else's.
Absolutely.
Right? Did you ever think like, okay, well, what if I have a family someday? Like, what if I want more for my life? Because there's only so much. Like when you get into an addiction, you do anything to get that addiction and capture that high, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with anything. And when you do that, you end up chasing like this thing that just never ends, right? And you end up falling into like all these years of lost time, right?
Yeah.
And then like I think what I got I got to a point where I just thought I stopped feeling sorry for my fucking self. You know?
Yeah.
Because like no one could ever tell, you know, but I never had any feelings or emotions when I was going through all my sicknesses, right? I call them sicknesses.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like to use the word sober, like, hey, I'm sober. I hate that word, man. You know why? Because it just sounds so weak, bro. You know what I tell people? Like, you're fucking free. Say I'm free now.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I like that.
Yeah. And I have a guy that, he owns a company called Sober and Jacked Fitness or whatever. Sober and Jacked. This is like thing or whatever. And I'm like, dude, I just think it would be so much more awesome if you use the word free in there. Maybe try to get in there,
Yeah.
And that's not to say that, people shouldn't be proud of being sober. I just like to use the word free.
Yeah.
Like, you're finally free, you know?
I like that. I like that a little bit more, actually. Especially, coming back into it myself right now. I having that period of sobriety, at least from 23 to 28, just under 5 years. I felt free. I was sober, but that whole time, I really wasn't like truly free. I was chasing the girl's education and getting her to the next job and making.
When you say the girls, you mean your lady?
Oh, my lady at the time. When I had gotten sober at 23, I went through all the step work, had a new experience, a psychic change, and I had managed to stay sober and put a bunch of days together, right? So at like 8 months, I met this individual, and we got together and stayed together until 28, roughly a year and some change ago. We ended up.
What are you? We're now 29.
I just turned 30 last
30.
April. Yeah.
There you go.
So through all of that, and really, I mean, I was forwarding someone else's life before myself. And it took me a long time to understand that and realize that, because through all of that, like, I lost all the love for myself and forwarding my experience in life. So really, like, coming back home a year ago when we moved to Colorado, she ended up finding another guy. She cheated, and then I got the boot from the house, right? I come home, and that's where I really started having my individualism and going to the gym on my own, because that was uncomfortable too. I was like, how do I do this? How do I do that? Right? And like, I don't have the girl by my side or anything like that. And it just felt different and new. And it just, yeah, I don't know. Like, this whole experience and life has been a lot, but also just eye-opening, like, all at the same time. Because if I really go back and analyze my entire life, like we've been doing, it's been a trip. Like, going from the progression of who I was as a child to who I am now, helping as many guys as I can on a daily basis, and also remembering that I have to have self-care in that, and look at me and feel everything that's going on, right? I can't just fucking ignore it, push it to the side and say, oh, you know what I mean?
That's why I like the gym, bro, because a lot of people, it's hard, man, because if you want to be somebody that gets through to people, right? And you're like, it's very difficult for another man to get through to me, bro. Either they have to relate to me in a subject that's very sensitive to me, since, like, kind of similar to our relationships, right now, or you have to be so smart that I think you're the alpha of the alphas, right? And I have to be able to grant you that. And there's only 3 men in my life that have been able to get through to me. There's a gentleman named Wes Watson online. You know who he is.
Yeah.
He got through to me, right? Ed Milet saved my life. That guy got through to me. And then Justice Coleman, my pastor. The only 3 men in my entire life that have ever been able to get through to me.
Yeah.
That I would listen to, right? Doesn't mean that I think they're better than me. It just means that they were able to get through to me.
Yeah.
And the way that they got through to me was because they related to me.
Yeah.
Each one of those guys took off their fucking mask at one point, and they related to me with a subject that was personal to me.
Yeah.
And that's how we get through to people, right? That's ultimately how it is. And I used to think, like, all the time to myself, man, like, but why me? Why me? And now I think, why not me?
Yeah.
Why not me? Right?
Yeah.
I got given and granted all this other bullshit that everyone throws at me because I can fucking handle it.
Yeah.
Right? Because I wouldn't be given this shit if I wasn't made to get out of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because,
100%.
and I believe in God, so I believe that He illuminates the path as we walk it.
Mm-hmm.
So if He says, hey, I'm going to give you all this bullshit to go through because you're going to go through it because I need you to feel what that's like. Mm-hmm. And then now you're going to take all this shit and then you're going to go save the people that you used to be.
Yeah.
That's your job now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
No, absolutely.
And that's what I think it is. And I don't think anything that happens to us just comes out of nowhere. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think it's meant to happen.
No, absolutely.
Every single thing. And just like you were saying how, your ex-girlfriend, cheated on you or stepped out on you or whatever, but it eventually led you to what?
It led
you to the next person.
Yep.
Right? And I believe that everyone's made to be a stepping stone. Or I've also lost people, right? Mm-hmm. Because I wasn't at that time the right person for them, right? In relationships.
Yeah.
Because I need to do more work on myself because they were too good for me. And I think God takes people out of your life, but he can sometimes put them back into your life.
Yeah.
And I think it just determines, I think what determines that is just if you're following the guideline, if you're following him and you're listening to your subconscious and you're paying attention to what he says. Because I believe that voice, that alter ego that you feel that's down here, that's pulling you. Because everyone has that voice that pulls us daily, right? Yeah.
There's that voice in the back of the head that says, "Oh, you can get high one more time." But
right,
then
that's the other dude, right?
That second thought is actual reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, going back to God, I mean, it really, like, without that higher power or God of my understanding, like, guiding me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here. I'd be 6 feet under. I'd be dead, in a ditch somewhere. I wouldn't have met the girl of my dreams. That, oddly enough, through the last, all of October, is still standing by me through everything that I put her through. And she has no understanding really of addiction and that lifestyle.
She never had any of that?
No, very far from it. And I mean, just her essence and like how she carries herself as an individual has really just like helped me grow. And then like having that higher power guide and also like have that experience through like going back to Alcoholics Anonymous and helping more guys either get into sobriety and or into treatment, so on and so forth. Because about 4 years ago, I started working back in treatment, started doing admissions for a call center. And that treatment center is actually in Colorado. There's 66 beds. So it's a very, very large facility up in the middle of the Rocky Mountains, like 20 minutes west of Vail, if you know where that is.
Yeah, I know where Vail is, yeah.
Very nice community.
Very nice.
I love it up there. Anytime I can travel up there, I will.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, especially in the wintertime.
Oh, dude, beyond. Awesome. If you hit those last 2 weeks from like end of September into October, hands down, probably the best driving experience I've ever had. Just driving through there, just the leaves, everything falling, and in a way, those experiences are how I feel God in my life, like, and pausing and seeing those interactions with the world,
being humble,
right? Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Just of everything.
Yeah.
And just like you were saying, like the actions, right, and all that stuff. And you've gotten it. You didn't get it here on your own, right? Like you got here because you took steps.
Yeah.
Right? You took steps to change, right? And you take daily actions, and you make sure that those daily actions align with the outcome which you receive, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you're disciplined, right? And that says a lot about somebody because we're emotional beings, right? So we're meant to have highs and lows, highs and lows, highs and lows. Whenever I start feeling low, I just get into a quick workout. Yeah. Or I'll give the gift of gratitude or try to talk to somebody or just say, hey, I hope you have a good day. And the stuff that makes you uncomfortable is the shit you need to do. I'll send weird texts out to friends. Hey, man, I just want you to know you're my best boy. I love you, dog.
You're like, speaking my language, dude.
And it fucking feels weird sometimes. It feels weird, but why does it feel weird? Why?
Especially like within those men interactions too. Because like when I'm using, I don't have men around my life because I isolate. I'm going to put myself in a deep, dark cave of depression and anxiety and everything running through my head. And I'm going to live in this self-centered lifestyle, right? Because fuck everything else, And it's just eye-opening to like have the life that I have today, the experience that I get to have. And really, truly, like when I say like I shouldn't be here, I should be in a hole 6 feet under. Like I truly believe that, and I have to believe that for the rest of my life. If I don't understand and know that, then I will drink or use again.
So that's what I was going to ask you. So you've relapsed before, obviously. Yeah. Most people do that a few times until they get it right. Mm-hmm. Would you agree that you have to have an ongoing thing that you do every day? Like you have to have some sort of like a blueprint laid out?
Yeah, I mean, I say there's a daily reprieve, right? Whether that is talking to guys, getting out of self, being helpful, just being helpful to someone, right? It could be as little as opening the door for someone and holding it at going out of Gold's, right? Like, oh, hey, thank you. Like, you know what I mean? that helps me feel full.
Got it.
And I get to have that experience, right? Right now, it's a lot of meetings every day. I actually attend a 7 a.m. meeting over in Agora every morning. It's actually really cool. There's a lot of sobriety in there, freeness, and individuals living this lifestyle.
What do you think that says about somebody that meets in person? Because a lot of people think that they're going to do what they need to do to change, but then they like do these things where they're like, oh, I'm listening to a podcast, I'm doing this. How much different is it to meet in person?
A whole lot more than any sort of virtual setting. I'll tell you that much. COVID screwed me up for a minute there, but
yeah, I can see that,
dude. It was weird too, because when I was sober that time, I was secretarying meetings. I was being of service to the central office out here in Camarillo, so on and so forth. I was trying to pick up guys, but everything was kind of weird, the whole interaction thing. But that interaction from one human being to another is immensely greater to me and more valuable than a phone call sometimes. And having that face value to like up front in front of me.
I think it's more of an energy exchange at that point.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's like
weird because you can really get to know somebody in person. See if
Yeah.
that's like, is that my people? Right?
Yeah.
I'm always looking for my people, the people I relate to the most, the people that I exchange energy with, and it's like boom, 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 and then we elevate each other, and then it's like all of a sudden, because I believe in that shit. I believe in that shit more now than I ever have.
Oh,
you know?
dude, yeah.
And I think the worst thing a man can do is understand that he doesn't have any emotions. If you don't think you have emotions and you're just living by this whole like, I'm worth tough, like, oh, I'm tough, I'm big, and this and that, and I don't give a shit what anyone thinks, and then fuck feelings, like get out of here, bro.
No,
you're never gonna live a fulfilled life, bro, if you think like that.
I am an emotional man to my core, and especially lately. I mean, again, like I shouldn't be sitting here. I should really be, somewhere else and doing other things, but by the grace of my God and really a partner and a family that are pushing me, and I get to push myself today. I get to have these experiences.
I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you, man.
It took time.
Yeah, it took a long time to get there, man. But like you've done the work, and it's funny because a lot of people think that, oh, I'm gonna get validation in the beginning. I need validation right now. Everyone better root for me now. Be like, what? Why would they do that? You haven't done shit.
No.
You haven't proven shit.
I've all been just words until.
What happens when we give people shit up front?
Then
they don't do the work.
They don't do the work. They don't.
Have you ever paid a contractor $1,000 up front for the job he's supposed to do, and what happens? He never shows up, or he shows up 20 weeks later with partial work,
and then does a half-ass job.
You give him the payment in the end.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just like anything. Like, do you get paid for your job if you work a job right now? No, you get paid for the hours you served.
100%.
Correct. So the work instills the worth. Mm-hmm. That's what makes you who you are, right? And I think a lot of people don't understand that to this day. I think a lot of people just think they need to be handed shit. And the way that communication is these days amongst a lot of people really sucks.
Yeah.
People don't have enough self-respect these days to follow through with their word.
Yeah.
Their actions. Just by little things. The little things is what matters. Not the humongous things. Yeah, they matter. But on the grand scheme of things, it's the little things like, hey, I'm going to be there at 7 o'clock tomorrow. Not 7:01, not 7:05. And yeah, shit comes up. But if it does, how much of an effort did you make to make sure that that person knows you're there, you're going to be there, you're running behind or whatever? Like, is that who you really are? Because you set the tone of who you actually are to everyone.
Yeah, communication is everything.
Correct.
With relationships, with family, with work, with just general walking around the gym, right? I mean, it could be, again, just as simple as like, hey, good to see you, right? That's proper communication instead of, just giving them the head nod, right? And having that interaction, having that energy exchange, and talking, about the whole being on time thing. Like that was something that was really instilled in me, like when I was little, actually from my father. Like if I wasn't early, then I was late.
Yeah.
I tend
Both
to have
my parents were like super prompt.
Yeah, like I had to be on top of it, So I've tried to carry that into like my lifestyle, and it's tended to serve me fairly well.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of people look at us, and they look at us because we're like, both kind of built a little bit. We got some muscle and stuff. And I think that when I look at another man, the first thing that I look at is his structure. Like, how does he perceive himself? Does he come at me weak? Does he come at me confident? Is he built? Does he take care of himself? How does he take care of the gift that he's been given from God? Your body. How does he take care of that? Does he look like shit? Does he look fat? Does he stink? Does his breath smell? Does he clean himself up? Does he look at me in the eyes when I talk to him? Does he shake my hand? You know, how does this man like carry himself?
Yeah.
Because that in itself is how I'm going to first look at you, not judge you, look at you.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to say, okay, are you worth my energy and my time? Am I going to give energy to something that's not going to be fulfilled and I'm not going to receive energy back from? Because at the end of the day, that's what life's about.
Yeah.
And if you're not that person, then I can give you tools. I can give you constructive criticism, which might be a little harsh. And if you turn it back on me like you're the victim, then I'm just going to leave you be for a little bit. I'm going to let God work on you a little bit more, right? Mm-hmm. And so you're just going to have to sit there and you're going to have to bake a little longer in the oven, right?
Yeah.
Until you get humbled enough to where you can hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? Because some people just can't get through to people until they've hit that point of rock bottom.
Yeah.
I always pray that it's not too late, you know? And I wanted to leave you off with a message. What would you say to a guy or girl that's in a situation, maybe they hear this podcast and they're like, I like your story, man. Like, but how do I change? I'm stuck here. I'm still getting high. I'm sitting in my mom's basement or in the back shed or wherever the fuck they're doing it. And I can't do it, man. I'm at the end of my rope.
I mean, the only thing that really worked for me and the only piece of advice that I could give is reach out to someone that has some understanding of being free, like yourself, right? Like that interaction we had in the sauna, that first time we met a week and a half ago. Mm-hmm. I put my hand out there just because like I felt comfortable at that point, right? Mm-hmm. Free at that moment, but still finding that support through being vulnerable and feeling that energy that we were experiencing that day. Because I'm
That's
a huge
courage, man.
Huge believer in all of that. Law of attraction, right? What I'm putting out there is what I'm going to get back.
Correct. I believe that.
And if anyone were struggling, I would just say reach out. You know, it doesn't make you any less of a person. It doesn't make you small or big or anything within your head, right? By reaching out, you're humbling yourself to have a new experience within life, which is exactly what I've been trying to do, you know, the last 11 days myself and getting back into it.
And everything you've said today, bro, I just want to commend you on that because it takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable. A lot more courage than it does to take and be tough and just confine yourself in solitude.
Yeah.
Solitude creates anger.
Yeah.
Creates hate. Mm-hmm. It creates a stigma in the water. And you know, it's funny, like people joke about this, but they're like, oh, I can feel an energy in the air, you know? And it's like, you really can.
No, yeah.
If someone comes around you and their energy is literally draining, it literally drains you. Mm-hmm. You guys agree? It drains you. When someone comes in the area that's just struggling with something, it's like, what can I do to help you? Mm-hmm. Like, what is it that you're struggling with? Is there something that I need to know about you? Be vulnerable. Because if you step out of your comfort group and you're like your comfort area and you're like, you know what? I'm going to make myself vulnerable today.
Yeah.
Right? That's courage, man. That is fucking the greatest amount of courage ever, because for a man to come out, and I'm going to tell you right now, the biggest relief I ever had in my entire life, bro, when right before I was 37, okay? And I had a meeting with my dad. I didn't talk to my dad for years. Yeah. And keep in mind, my dad has breasts now. You know, my dad's a full chick, you know? But my dad's a little bigger than me. He's a little taller. He's a little broader. Like, he still looks shaped kind of like a man, but he's a chick, you know? It's and my sister was saying, hey, I'm going to invite, you know, Lisa over. That's my dad. I was like, yeah, well, I'm just going to be tough guy, you know, and I was a biker at the time, and, you know, ending my biker stuff. And I said, you know, I'm just not going to pay attention to that. And I said, no. And my sister's like, all right, you want him over? It's fine. Because my sister had my back. And I waited a minute. I waited about an hour, and I got this weird feeling, man. It was just boiling in my system, bro. It was boiling in my stomach, and I felt like shit. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm done being like this, bro. I am fucking done. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to tell everyone. And I'm going to fucking put a picture out as soon as I see my dad. And I did. And I told my sister, I said, invite my dad over. My dad came over. He hugged me like crazy. You know, my dad's all emotional and stuff. And then I took a picture with my dad, bro. And I posted that shit on Instagram and Facebook. And I got like 2,000 shares, bro. Like 30, 40,000 likes.
Yeah.
All kinds of people commenting. And like, I basically started off a story and it said, this is Lisa, but a long time ago it was my father.
Yeah.
And that was the start of the story. And I just said, you know, I'm a lot like her.
Yeah.
You know, and like I use like creative writing to like express like a feeling like, yeah, this is my dad. And I don't give a fuck what you think about my dad. My dad can be an alien. My dad could be a fucking chick. My dad's gay, whatever. I don't give a fuck. This is my dad. This is my parent. And I love my dad no matter what. And I accept my dad for who he is. And I'm not ashamed to call this person my dad. And if you want to judge me based on who my dad is, then I don't need you in my life either way.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I didn't choose this path. God did. And so I did that. And that was my release. And I swear to God, on everything, I had the worst chest pain for about a year.
Yeah.
It just, this pulling sensation, this burning sensation of hate and like anger and like, why'd you do this to me? Why did you do this to me? Why couldn't you just be in prison forever and fucking be this crazy guy or whatever, you know? Why did you have to make yourself so unmanly? And then the day that I just let it all go, bro, and I just didn't give a fuck anymore. Bro, I had 15, 25 friends reach out to me that said, hey, my dad's a crossdresser. Hey, my dad's gay. Hey, my brother's gay. My sister's a lesbian. Like, fucking all this other shit. And I was like, holy, you know, like, dang, you guys are all hiding this shit. I had no idea. Yeah, man, you know, blah, blah, blah. I've had these feelings of this and that and that. And then people started relating to me. And I don't care who you are, like what your demographic is, what your orientation is, man, you know? As long as like you respect my beliefs and my values, and I respect yours, we can get along just fine.
Yeah.
And I let that go, man. And ever since then, I haven't had those pains in my chest. And it was so crazy, man. I'd hanged on to that my entire life. And I put that on my kids. I put that on my family. I took that to war with me.
Yeah.
You know, like when I was in combat in the Marine Corps.
We'll pack that backpack full of bricks and just carry it around our entire lives until we just let it go, you know?
Bro, and talking about it makes me feel so much better,
100%,
bro. Because I don't give a fuck anymore.
Oh, no.
I don't give a shit. I invite my dad over for like I've had my dad come around, people know, and I've publicized it. And that's what really helped me. And after that, bro, I realized that publicizing shit that I do helped heal me, and it also helped me relate to other people. So as soon as I started posting my workouts online and I started doing my burpees, people were like, dude, I needed your burpees today. Where'd you at, man? I needed that, bro. Or, hey, I saw you in there, bro. Smash it, dude. I missed today. I'm going to go in right now. And I got people to do better.
Yeah.
And then it was like something I had to kind of keep doing, you know?
Promoting that positivity within your life and lifestyle, you know?
Yeah.
And really, I mean, even when you brought up the podcast, I was like, this is going to be a healing motion for me. And then you brought up your father today. And that broke me down, dude.
Dude, that's crazy. I haven't heard anyone else talk about that, man, because most men keep it in their system, man, you know?
Yeah.
You know? And dude, as real men, we share emotions. We cry, man.
Yeah.
You know, we have to. I cried when I heard about my dad. When I brought my dad, I brought him on the podcast. And it was so emotional because my dad told me so many things that I didn't know. I used to think my dad wasn't there for me. Yeah. I used to think he was just not. My dad, he's like, dude, I took you so many places. You don't remember? I was like, nah. Or I thought you were gone. He's like, no. Remember the hike we went on? Remember Mount Whitney? Remember I took you up and then we got sick? Remember we camped out? We did all those things. And I was like, shit, man, we did do a lot of stuff. Remember I helped you work on my car? You helped me? Remember we fixed the oil pump? Like, I don't remember that. Yeah, I remember. So it was like, I hated this person because I hated someone so much that I buried all the memories of them. Because all I wanted to do was focus on one thing. Yeah. I wanted to focus on you not being a dude.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to be a man for me.
The negative. As human beings, we like to focus on the negative to push everything to the side.
Because it's a comfort feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's a comfort feeling. We're comfortable feeling the same feeling over and over again. Because, and I've said this before, an emotion only lasts 7 minutes. You know that, right?
Yeah.
If someone does something to you, that's only a 7-minute entourage. That's all it is. After 7 minutes, you're repeating the cycle forever, as long as you remember it. But if you can just make that emotion feel a little bit better, 1% better, it changes forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyways, some good stuff, man. That's some good stuff, man. Really, really appreciate that.
I really appreciate you having me out, dude. That made me feel good today and added to my freeness, you know?
Dude, it is, man. It's something that's so personal for a lot of people. But, man, taking off that mask, man, really helps. And just connecting with somebody else on the same level and saying, hey, man, I've lived this life. I'm living a different life, and I'm going forward for the future. And that's all it is, man. I'm everybody's biggest fan, man. I'll promote you forever, bro. I'll be your biggest fan, dude, you know? You could always rely on me, and I tell that to everybody, you know?
Oh, dude.
And that's just the energy exchange, man. It's just to find your frequency, find your circle, you know?
Thank you, brother.
Anyways, man, off to better chapters. if you're listening to this and if you're struggling and if you're hiding a relapse, you're scared to come back, you can come back, okay? This dude did it. Kyle's the man, okay? He's doing it for other people now. And if you're struggling to try to understand, like where to go from here, first thing I would always say is start with your spiritual first, right? Get into church, go to God, try to make peace with that. Let yourself go, be vulnerable, get into working out.
Humble yourself
every fucking day with something that's really hard, because it takes a really strong person to get into the gym every single day and beat the shit out of yourself and make that freaking heart rate elevate and get that vibration high. But anyone can come back. And if you failed once and you failed twice, you'll be forgiven forever through God. And there's always someone there to help you no matter what. Reach out to this guy on Instagram. I'm sure he don't mind, right?
Oh, absolutely.
What's your shout out? What's your Instagram?
At Kyle Berg 95.
There you go. We're only one through God, guys. And that's what I rely on now for my faith, because if I never had a father, I still have a father, and I always had a father.
Yeah.
And I rely on him every day for my blessings and for my peace. Anything else?
I mean, just to follow that up, I mean, God is everything or he's nothing. I mean, to me today, I have to have a God in my life to continue moving forward. So I couldn't echo that enough.
Yeah. Amen, brother. Until next time, guys, get up, get after it, and get some.
Bitch, don't get too comfortable. Better not get too comfortable. Better not get too comfortable. Yeah, bitch, don't get too comfortable.